The heated televised court battle between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard concluded a few weeks ago. On June 1st, a 7-member jury found that the Aquaman star did defame Depp in his civil suit against his ex. Depp, who prevailed on all 3 claims, was awarded $10 million in compensatory damages plus punitive damages of $5 million. The actress won one of 3 claims in the countersuit against her former husband and was awarded $2 million. Amber's attorneys struggled throughout the hearing, and one of them was particularly more than happy to move on after the case was concluded. Did the actress provide inefficient information to her legal team, which made them lose the case? Let's find out. It has now come to light that one of Amber Heard's lead attorneys, Benjamin Rottenborn, was more than happy when the defamation hearing came to an end. Rottenborn found himself on the wrong side of the jury, and most notably, the fans. So much so that the senior counsel is said to have been fed up with handling the case way before it was over. One of such instances happened during the closing argument session. The court proceeding began with the honorable judge going over the rules and regulations for the jury once again. It was followed by Johnny Depp's lawyers Camille Vasquez and Ben Chu's closing statements. After a short break, the court resumed, and one of Amber Heard's lawyers, who happened to be Rottenborn, began his closing statements. The lawyer right away argued that Depp and his legal team had done everything possible to damage Amber Heard's reputation and career. He also argued that just because Depp tried to prove that Amber's article was about him doesn't mean it was. This is not a hit piece on Johnny Depp. This whole case is about blaming Amber Heard for things she did not do, because that is what Mr. Depp does, Rottenborn told the court. Weighing in on the verdict, he reminded the jury that physical, emotional, psychological, and verbal are all acceptable abuses. He said, if Amber was abused by Mr. Depp even one time, then she wins. It's not about who's the better spouse. It's not about whether you think Amber was also abusive to Mr. Depp. They are trying to trick you into thinking Amber needs to be perfect in order to win. In a quick response, the internet went berserk, clearly showing that they did not take Rottenborn's closing statement too kindly and called it boring. Throughout the trial, netizens sided with Johnny Depp, and the lawyer would have been wise enough to sieve his words carefully. Depp enjoyed massive support from fans, so much so that the people weren't going to leave Rottenborn's closing statements alone and eventually managed to drag him through the mud. One Twitter user wrote, "Uh-oh, someone must have drugged this lady in the gallery, or maybe nobody is buying the mountain of turds that Elaine and Rottenborn are trying to spin into fact." Not working. Another user simply called the trial boring and said, #Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp. I'm so tired of these closing statements. Rottenborn is boring, Elaine is boring. No points. I'm tired, and I just want Camille or Ben Chu back. Another frustrated user tweeted, Rottenborn talked for like an hour and a half, just going over the same evidence again, insulting the intelligence and memory of the jury and boring everybody to tears. Following the same tone, one user said, I'm struggling to follow along because Rottenborn was extremely boring, and Elaine sounds like she's rambling nonsense. If I was on the jury, I would have mentally checked out the second they started speaking. People who were actively following the lawsuit did not leave Amber's other attorney, Elaine Bredehoft, either. One user said, Elaine was awful. She was talking and moving from topic to topic at 100 miles per hour, and it gave an uncomfortable feeling. Rottenborn spoke well, but was overall boring, so I'm not sure what you listened to. Another person said, chances are people on the jury don't care about who read notes and who didn't. It's about if they can follow. In my opinion, Rottenborn is eternally boring and all over the place. If I was seated on the jury, I would have zoned out. Not everybody loves the sound of his voice as much as he does. It is after facing such harsh criticism that Rottenborn decided enough is enough. The lawyer hoped to triumph against Depp, who sued his ex-wife for defamation over a 2018 op-ed she penned for the Washington Post, where she described herself as a public figure representing domestic abuse. False, very serious, and criminal allegations were levied at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content, although no charges were ever brought against me, Depp said in a statement following his win. It had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and my career. And 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back. I am truly humbled. Rottenborn also annoyed the jury when he purported that they were helping the Fantastic Beasts star evade justice. During his closing arguments, he asked the jury to focus on the kind of message that Depp's legal team was pushing for victims of domestic violence. Adding to his previous insinuations, Rottenborn told the jury that they would be accomplices to Depp's alleged domestic abuse if the verdict was in his favor. Was Rottenborn simply a bad lawyer, or Amber didn't furnish him with enough information to help him win her case? Let us know in the comments below. In our upcoming videos, we'll be bringing you more of such amazing content, so be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you don't get to miss any of them.